In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that.
But these pedophiles had resources. They bought an island, and they took children.
I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors, the putting girls in the suitcases.
Jay-Z reportedly leaves U.S. as Epstein files spark questions. Hey, he probably went to the same place Russell Simmons is in Bali. But I know Jay-Z owns his own album.
DL Hughley has quietly become one of the last voices in Hollywood who isn't afraid to light a match in a room full of gasoline. While others whisper behind closed doors, he's stepping straight into the fire and saying the things most celebrities wouldn't dare breathe out loud. When people like Jaguar Wright and Kanye West tried sounding the alarm about Jay-Z years ago, they were mocked, labeled unstable, written off like background noise. Now DL is basically saying what nobody wants to admit. Maybe they weren't crazy. Maybe they were early. Because suddenly Jay-Z's name isn't just floating around gossip blogs anymore. It's sitting there in black and white inside the Epstein files, right alongside disgraced former power players like Harvey Weinstein. And those old warnings? They don't feel like wild conspiracy theories now. They feel like receipts. The kind that make your stomach drop. Overnight, the same voices people laughed at don't sound so ridiculous anymore. They sound prophetic. What really makes DL stand out is the silence around him. While most celebrities are moving like ghosts, no comments, no tweets, no eye contact, pretending the Epstein story doesn't exist, DL is doing the exact opposite. He's speaking louder. He's calling names. He's demanding that every single person listed in those files be investigated. No favorites. No immunity. No celebrity passes. Then he posted something that hit even harder, a message pointing out how twisted the system looks right now. More people getting arrested for interrupting a church service than for the kind of crimes tied to Epstein's circle. Think about that. Minor disruptions punished faster than alleged exploitation. It painted a picture that felt upside down, like justice itself had been bought and sold. But DL didn't stop at words. He dug up something older, something unsettling. Old footage resurfaced of a young woman, visibly shaking, voice cracking, describing something she claimed to have witnessed at an elite private party. Not gossip, not drama, trauma. You could see it in her eyes. The woman was Mexican model Gabriela Rico Jimenez, who briefly went viral back in 2009 after alleging she saw something deeply disturbing at a high-profile gathering in Monterrey. A party she said was connected to powerful people orbiting Epstein's world. Back then, nobody listened. Her story vanished almost overnight. Media moved on. Doors closed. Like someone flipped a switch and erased her. But now, with everything exploding back into public view, DL sharing that clip feels intentional. Like he's forcing people to look at something they once ignored. Like he's asking, how deep does this rabbit hole actually go? And then the story takes an even darker turn. Not long after that video gained traction years ago, Gabriela was arrested. After that, silence. No interviews. No updates. No sightings. She just disappeared from the public eye. Gone. Like a ghost swallowed by the system. With more high-profile names surfacing in the files, DL isn't just calling out individuals anymore, he's calling out the entire culture. Hollywood, the music industry, the machine. His issue isn't only who's listed. It's the quiet, the selective outrage. The way people scream when it's convenient, but suddenly lose their voices when their favorite star might get exposed. According to DL, that silence tells you everything. Loyalty over truth. Fame over justice. Protect the brand at all costs. And this isn't new behavior for him. DL has always been the guy willing to say the uncomfortable part out loud. The part everyone else edits out. When Jay-Z's name popped up in that lawsuit tied to one of Diddy's accusers, Jay wasted no time releasing a long, polished statement, talking about morals, integrity, protecting kids, painting himself as untouchable. A lot of fans ate it up. Said it sounded heartfelt. Honest. But DL didn't buy it for a second. He reminded people how Diddy once said the same thing. Swore innocence. Denied everything. Right up until that hotel footage surfaced and shattered the illusion. And that's the point DL keeps circling back to. Sometimes the truth doesn't come from statements. It comes from what people desperately try to bury.
I think Jay-Z's tone was exactly, but see, I saw Puffy say the same and then a video came out.
Yeah.
All right, now let's slow this down and really look at the part nobody in the industry wants to say out loud, Jay-Z. Because ever since his name quietly showed up in those files, the internet hasn't just been whispering, it's been spiraling. The rumors aren't small either. They're explosive. Online chatter is now claiming he didn't just lawyer up, he may have already packed up. One viral account on X, Hoops Crave, dropped a post that spread like wildfire, saying Jay-Z had reportedly left the United States for an undisclosed location. No press conference. No explanation. Just gone. The kind of move that instantly makes people suspicious. Because when powerful men disappear right as paperwork surfaces, it never looks random. Then Tasha K jumped into the fire and poured gasoline on it. She pointed out something that made the timeline feel even stranger: Jay-Z and Beyoncé quietly buying property overseas. Not a condo. Not a vacation home. A full-blown estate in the UK. The type of purchase you make when you're planning routes, not holidays. And her words were sharp. Jay-Z is named in the Diddy files, Epstein files, and Weinstein files, but somehow he's the only one innocent. Guess that's why he's building a home in the UK, just like Russell Simmons built one in Bali. That comparison hit hard, because people know what that implies. When celebrities start building mansions far away from US soil, folks don't think retirement. They think exit plan. And here's the part that makes it uncomfortable. This isn't internet fiction. The Carters really are making moves overseas. Back in December, multiple British outlets reported they were finalizing plans to build a massive mansion tucked away in the Cotswolds. 58 acres of land. Secluded. Private. Practically hidden. The kind of property where nobody sees you unless you want to be seen. Sure, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just another luxury purchase. But the timing? The timing is what makes people freeze mid-scroll. Because all of this is happening while his name keeps popping up in documents nobody wants their name attached to. So naturally, people started digging. And that's where things get murkier. According to records released by the DOJ, Jay-Z's name wasn't randomly scribbled into those files. It allegedly appeared connected to an anonymous tip sent to the FBI. A woman claimed that years ago, way back in 1996, she woke up inside Epstein's Florida mansion and said two men were present in that room: Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z. Just reading that sentence feels surreal. Fans immediately pushed back. They said it was impossible. Said Jay wasn't even Jay-Z yet back then. Said he wasn't powerful enough to be anywhere near people like Epstein or Weinstein. But that defense doesn't hold up the way people think it does. Because history tells a different story. He wasn't a billionaire mogul yet, true. But he wasn't some broke kid either. He was already connected. Already moving through nightlife, money, private rooms, industry executives. Before the platinum plaques and stadium tours, he was around people with influence. Around backroom deals. Around networks that regular artists never get access to. And let's be honest, the entertainment industry has always been about proximity. If you're useful, doors open fast. And before music fully exploded, Jay was already navigating business worlds that powerful executives tend to notice. The kind of circles where introductions happen quietly and favors get exchanged without paperwork. Plus, look at the pattern. Diddy himself didn't just make it. He was handpicked, groomed, pulled into elite rooms by heavy hitters like Clive Davis. That's how the system works. Talent gets recruited, positioned, protected. So the idea that Jay couldn't have crossed paths with Hollywood power players in the 90s? That's not logic. That's wishful thinking. And here's something else people conveniently forget. Years later, Jay-Z and Weinstein weren't strangers. They were close. Close enough that footage exists. A clip recently resurfaced showing Weinstein literally stepping into one of Jay's interviews, cutting it off mid-conversation when a reporter started asking uncomfortable questions about Trump. Just walked in and shut it down like security. Like he had authority. Like he belonged there. That wasn't the energy of two men who barely knew each other. That looked like access. And access is what makes this whole story feel heavier. Because when you connect all the dots, the files, the properties overseas, the old relationships, the resurfaced footage, it stops feeling like random coincidences. It starts feeling like a pattern. And patterns are what investigators pay attention to. Not statements. Not PR teams. Patterns.
Your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
The moment itself felt off. Jay-Z didn't look calm. He didn't look confident. He didn't even look annoyed. He looked frozen. Like a man caught in headlights with nowhere to run. His eyes darted. His words stumbled. Every answer felt measured, like he was terrified of saying one sentence too many. And then, out of nowhere, Harvey Weinstein stepped in, not casually, not politely, but decisively. He cut the interview short like a supervisor ending a meeting. Not a friend. Not a peer. A handler. That's what made people uncomfortable. Because it didn't look like two powerful men standing side by side. It looked like one controlling the other. Now sure, none of that proves what happened back in 1996. Nobody's claiming it's a smoking gun. But what it does show is something just as telling. Jay already had access to rooms most artists never even get near. Private rooms. Executive rooms. The kind of spaces where deals and secrets are traded quietly. And that's when people started noticing a pattern. Not one connection. Not two. A pattern. For years, Jay-Z was publicly tight with R. Kelly. With Diddy. With Harvey Weinstein. Three men who didn't just face accusations, they ended up convicted or exposed in ways that shattered their empires. So people are asking the obvious question nobody in the industry wants to touch. Are we really supposed to believe he had no clue? No red flags? No whispers? Nothing? That it's just some cosmic coincidence that multiple men in his inner circle later turned out to be predators? Because at some point, coincidence starts looking like proximity. And proximity starts looking like knowledge. Now when it comes to Weinstein and Epstein, that connection isn't speculation, it's documented history. They weren't strangers who met at a party once. They ran in the same elite circles for years, long before the public ever knew their names would be linked to scandal. Photos show them shoulder to shoulder at high society events. Smiling, relaxed, comfortable. Including that infamous royal gathering for Princess Beatrice's birthday at Windsor, the kind of guest list you don't land on unless you're deeply plugged into power. But it went beyond champagne and photo ops. There was business involved. Real money. Back in 2003, both Epstein and Weinstein were part of a tight investment group trying to purchase New York Magazine. That's not casual networking. That's partnership. Strategy. Shared interests. The deal fell apart, sure, but the message was clear. They were working together. Closely. And then it gets darker. Reports later claimed Epstein even used his connection to Weinstein to impress young women, name-dropping him like a trophy. One allegation says he convinced Weinstein to cast one of his victims in a horror film produced by his company. Let that sink in. Access being traded like currency. According to sources speaking to the Daily Beast, Epstein considered Weinstein a close friend, someone he regularly invited to his private Paris apartment. Not business lunches. Private visits. New York publicist R. Corey Hay didn't mince words either. He said it wouldn't surprise him if the two bonded over shared immoral tendencies, that their relationship might have been built on mutual darkness. And that's where the question gets uncomfortable. If Epstein and Weinstein were that close, where exactly does Jay-Z fit into this web? Because his name keeps popping up right next to theirs. We've already seen that strange clip where Weinstein steps in like Jay's personal gatekeeper during an interview. And here's the kicker, that moment happened around the same time frame Weinstein was also socializing and traveling with Epstein. Same years, same circles, same rooms. And when timelines start overlapping like that, people start connecting dots whether celebrities like it or not. Then there's 2016. Jay-Z signs a film and TV first look deal with the Weinstein Company. Multiple projects lined up. Big collaborations planned. All just months before the avalanche of allegations against Weinstein exploded and the Me Too movement rocked Hollywood. But here's what insiders always say. The whispers about Weinstein didn't suddenly appear in 2017. They'd been floating around for years. Quietly. Privately. Everybody knew. They just didn't say it out loud. Which brings us right back to that same pattern again. R. Kelly. Diddy. Weinstein. Men Jay spent years standing next to, who later fell spectacularly from grace. And somehow we're supposed to believe he never saw anything. Never heard anything. Never suspected anything. Now, let's be clear. This isn't an accusation. It's a question. A pattern people can't ignore. Because plausibility isn't proof, and there's no verified evidence Jay-Z ever stepped foot inside Epstein's mansion. But public perception doesn't work like a courtroom. It works on patterns. And when the same names keep circling the same person over and over, people start asking why. Online reactions prove it. One viral post on X didn't hold back, calling Jay an untouchable billionaire protected by fame and marriage, saying people excuse him while condemning others. Mentioning Diddy, R. Kelly, Epstein, connecting all of it. Another comment was even harsher, saying at some point denial turns into willful blindness. And now the conversation isn't going away. So here's the real question. When you saw Jay-Z's name show up in those files, what did you think? Just business? Just coincidence? Or something darker hiding behind closed doors? Because the silence around this story feels louder than ever. Drop your thoughts below. And don't blink. The next chapter gets even heavier.